Hello, and welcome to another deck showcase video. Today we have a unique take on the popular Mona Klee combo decks that have been showing up quite a lot recently. And while those decks more often than not use Fischl, this deck opts for Ayaka, giving it access to freeze, melt, and vaporize, along with a little more flexibility on certain action cards that can be used. But before getting into the action cards in the deck, however, let's first go over the main function of Mona in the deck. Besides being a hydro applicator, Mona's passive states that when you swap off of Mona to another character, it counts as a quick swap instead of ending your turn. This can allow us to set up rapid reactions and potentially dodge enemy reactions without needing cards like Catherine or Leave It to Me. However, this also means that we want to try to end our turn on Mona to have the quick swap option at the beginning of the next round. Additionally, the quick swap synergizes well with Ayaka's passive, which states that when you swap to her, her normal attacks will be infused with cryo for the round. So we can quickly create freeze combos to disrupt the enemy, or set up for Mona to freeze or Klee to melt, which is where the deck gets the mix-up part of its name, since we can mix up our strategy as needed. And speaking of Klee, her low-cost normal attacks after using her skill can make her useful for sneaky 2-dice attacks that help mitigate the cost of swapping characters. Moving into the rest of the deck, we have one copy of Pounding Surprise to allow Klee the potential for 2 charge attacks after using her skill, and we also have 2 copies of Conten Centennial Blessing, which allows us to swap to Ayaka for 1 less die, making it a 0-cost swap, and it also increases her cryo damage by 1. Because we'll be using skills quite a bit, we have 2 copies of Lucky Dog's Silver Circlet to help with healing. In addition to this, we also have the standard 2 copies of Mushroom Pizza and 2 copies of Mondstadt Hash Browns, along with 2 copies of Lotus Flower Crisp. And because we swap around a lot, we're likely to take quite a bit of damage on every character early on, so to help with this, we have 1 copy of Wangshu Inn and 2 copies of Favonia's Cathedral. And because swapping characters is the core function of this deck, we run quite a few cards that synergize well with it, like 1 copy of Liu Su for energy, and 2 copies of Changing Shifts to help reduce the cost of swapping characters. Additionally, we have 2 copies of Knights of Favonia's Library to help us roll into the dice we'll need for whichever characters we plan to swap to. In addition to the library, 2 copies of the Bestest Travel Companion also helps us get the dice needed for swapping, or to set up the 2 copies of Paimon that we have in the deck for ramp. And this ramp can allow us to do more with each character we swap to, or set down our healing cards to mitigate damage from our opponent's combos. Now, card draw is certainly this deck's weakest point, with only 2 copies of Strategize and 1 copy of Chang the Ninth, so it's best to try to have these cards in the opening hand if we don't manage to immediately get our ramp and healing cards. And lastly, we have the standard 2 copies of I Haven't Lost Yet, and 2 copies of Send Off. Send Off is an optional card choice that's there to help slow down more aggressive catalyzed decks or to disrupt summon decks. However, it can be swapped out for potentially more card draw, like Timmy, Lieben, or another Chang the Ninth, or even Dawn Winery or Catherine, which are more standard cards in quick swap decks. But with that being said, let's see how the deck does in some matches. Yeah, up against an overload deck here. Well, that's not going to be too helpful. Probably not any of that, really. Okay, a little better here.
This is destiny.
Not bad there. We've got pretty much everything we need to set up the combos here. So, the game is certainly handing us quite
Shadows
the
of
bone.
Fate.
We could also go for our ramp if we want to, which might be the better choice. Especially if they're not going to necessarily do much with their turn. Ramp will probably be better, and then just do draw.
I summon thee!
Yeah, that seems like the smarter choice. Again, good setup for the Ayaka, but not needed when they're at the end already. Yeah, well, we've got everyone's skill card to start with. Okay, so they are probably going to go for a swirl at some point here. Swirl into overload's probably what they're aiming for. Now, do they have the ability to quick swap? That is the question. I don't think we want Mona here, maybe not yet. Klee and Ayaka can probably handle this together. Will we have enough for... Yeah, I believe if we do this, then we've got those out of the way, and we can always tune
Kamisato Ayaka,
this if
present.
needed. So we basically just have that for free, and then can attack into it for 5.
My apologies.
So pretty strong start right there. Sword going to go on to Bennett. Switching to Sucrose, probably going to try to overload us into Mona, maybe? Oh, this would move us actually to Klee, so that wouldn't be a terrible idea. Or at least not terrible for us. Anything that we want to play here to potentially use? I think we can just attack.
Absorption
Elemental
test.
skill. Moves us to Klee. That's no big deal. We can put a pizza onto... Yeah, put a pizza onto Sucrose. And then heal Mona with that. And wait. Zucro is probably going to try to push again. Or does a normal attack get some damage in there? Has the burst ready. We have the potential to use Klee's skill with this to heal back up. Liu Su coming a bit late here. Might not be worth it. Mona's not bad to have here. To go back to... do we want all of that, though? I don't think so. I think we want to try to get some Pyro. And this should still be good enough. We are going to get swirled here if we do this. We'll attack. We'll hit for 5. We'll get swirled and probably pushed into Mona, who can quick swap into someone else. So that's not entirely bad. Put this on Klee. And then attack. Hit for 5.
Dumpy dumpy doo! Enhanced animal module 75.
Elemental Burst, not actually going to move us. Interesting. Do we want to place this then? And then do that for 2, which would be a better choice here? Probably. Do we want to switch that for anything? I don't think it really matters, to be honest. I don't think that's, no, not that. Can we go back, please? There. Yeah, this should be fine.
Need to make adjustments.
Okay, they can summon Oz here.
Oz, reveal thyself.
Potentially also, they've got a lot of overload potential that they can work with here. And that is, of course, concerning. Because they can swap Overload and then go from there. I mean, they can swap Overload regardless, so we might as well get the damage in and have Klee get her burst. So now, if she survives, should be fine to burst. Normal attack will only do 3. I do think we're fine here. Then in draw, try to look for maybe a heal or something. There's 2. And there's the 1. Klee is going to die here, unfortunately, so let's see if we can just get her burst out. We definitely have what we need for her burst. Now we can just swap. Basically, actually, I'm going to just do that. Why would I get rid of the Pyro there? Take less Omni. Getting more Pyro. I mean, again, the more Pyro is not inherently bad. It just saves us the Omni. We can keep... Yeah, we can keep Ayaka. Yeah, the Cryo Dice will be fine. Again, we can always convert if we need to. A bit of a waste on the damage, but it will be fine.
One shall descend once again.
Now, we do have to worry about a lot of overload. That's going to be the scary part here.
Let's light it up!
Klee explodes.
Was an accident.
Goes to Ayaka. That's fine. He takes some damage. How do we want to do that? We can do 6 on him, which would basically make his next attack lethal. I don't know if we necessarily need to worry about that.
Whirling snow!
Yeah, if he attacks without heal, he is going to explode. Opponent ends the turn. I don't really see a need to do anything here, so I think we're good. Unless I want to put this on, say, Mona, perhaps. Just in case. Yeah, Ayaka probably dies here, but obviously so too does the Bennett if he does not have some good healing items, and even then he is at risk of dying to Mona.
Let's light it
Elemental
up!
skill will get the 6, that's fine.
Remains unfinished.
But
This is
ends up
just
dying in
my-
the process.
Ugh.
Sort of in typical Bennett skill fashion, hurts himself when he uses it a bit too much. But yeah, pretty straightforward game there. Kind of got the perfect start that we would need for going up against this kind of a team. Good ramp at the start, good dice rolls to get the ramp off. Also had options to go right into the freeze. So plenty of options there that were available to us. Okay, looks like we are up against a Cryo Resonance Freeze team. So this is going to be a bit trickier dealing with Chung Yoon. We are definitely going to want to get rid of the Sing Cho as quickly as possible. Summons won't be as big of a deal here. So this could be very tricky. Will we have time to ramp? Maybe. The damage will probably get pretty bad.
This is
So yeah, they're going to want to get their Chung Yoon out, and they will likely be able to get this off much quicker than we will because they get the start first. Let's see if we can get at least a Hydro. That will help a lot. We do not. They'll also be able to get the energy for when they switch to Oh yeah, when they switch to Sing Cho. I'm surprised that they didn't immediately use Chung Yoon's skill. Huh, how do we want to play this? I think we put this down. The ramp won't be of much use if we simply can't use it, if we can't attack to use the dice. Okay, we did get one of these. It is going to take up quite a bit for us, though.
Let me scribe.
It's going to immediately get off the burst.
Rain cutter.
I think at this point, we actually just play the Paimon. Yeah, I think the Paimon is going to be the trick here. If we swap into Ayaka and freeze the Sing Cho, that's not really going to help us much. So we need to make sure that we play the Paimon. Now, are they going to swap the Chung Yoon? That is pretty good for us, because they'll get hit with the Hydro, and then we will be able to freeze the Chung Yoon. Now, the issue, of course, is the Ayaka. That is going to be a big problem for us. So I do think we are going to need to get rid of any Hydro that we get. We definitely want Cryo, and we definitely are going to want the Pyro to potentially combo with Klee. Okay. We can use this.
I await your instruction.
My apologies.
And get freeze off there. And the opponent is very likely going to try to quick swap to Ayaka. Passive skill is in effect. How do we want to play this now? If we attack again, won't likely be able to do anything else. The 4 damage might be worth it. They'll be able to attack at least twice on us. Perhaps we let that happen and just shield up here.
Take flight.
And I think that is going to be the case. They will attack into us. And then we quick swap back to Mona. Or just regular swap to Mona, rather. And then from there, they've got a lot of heal going on to keep their Ayaka alive. Okay, so that's going to be... They're going to get a lot of dice with the Parametric Transformer as well. I still think switching to Mona is going to be the best choice here, so that we can quick swap to whoever we want to. They're going to heal back to 10. Klee can potentially do some damage to rectify that, though. Now the Ayaka will have to use her skill, since her attack is off. I am not... We'll keep Ayaka's dice just in case. We definitely do not need any of these right now, because Mona will not stay on the field. Yeah, the Pyro is going to be our better choice. We also have to think on what we're going to do with the ramp. Okay, they might not have rolled the dice that they want. That could be useful for us. Of course, if they don't freeze us, Mona will be able to pretty much immediately attack back. Though they are going to have a dice advantage in the long run because of the parametric transformer. Of course, if it's useless dice, might be good for us. They're going to try to get the burst, which, okay.
My apologies.
I am all for you getting that burst off. This card might not be as useless as anticipated. Do we want to go for this? Perhaps we do.
Ta-da! Klee is here. Jumpy, dumpy, move!
No, we don't have the even, but we are doing a lot of damage. Okay, they're playing Timmy. Are they going to try to burst? Yes, they will. It's a lot of damage that we are about to completely negate. They do get their dice back, which is unfortunate, because that's going to be a lot of damage to us. Even if they attack into it, that's going to be 2 plus another 2. It's going to be 4 damage into us, so we are going to have to be pretty careful here. I might switch off of Klee in that case. In which case, I'm going to actually... I wanted to switch the dice that I was going to use, but it didn't let me. So that's nice. I was hoping it was going to bring that up, but it didn't, because I wanted to switch off of Klee and go to Ayaka. Because now we can't play both of these. So that is quite unfortunate. Well, we wouldn't have been able to anyways. Do we get the heal out, or do we try to get the dice out? I think the heal might actually be the better choice here. Or do we try to go for both? Do they have the means to kill Klee? I don't think so. I think we can risk both. This is dangerous, but I will test it. Yeah, and the Ayaka is going to heal another 4. Converts a card to attack. Normal attack. There's 2. There's another 2. Or 3 because of the freeze. Back up to 9. Okay, let's see. We can always switch to Mona if we need to. We are going to get off of Klee. Okay, we got plenty of Hydro to work with here. Is there anything else that we might be able to work with? No, we've got our card draw. There's more card draw if we want to do that, but I don't think that'll be necessary. I think at this point, we just swap on over. And I think I want to use one of the Hydro.
The stars foretold.
Okay, they're gonna shield their Chungyun and swap to the Chungyun. This is going to be an issue because they will be able to get that field down pretty much regardless of what I do. Do we go for the heal on Mona? And then swap to... That might be all that we can do. We do not want to use those dice. We want to use these, and then we will take those, which will have enough for us to swap to Ayaka.
Delve into destiny.
Yeah, Chongyun will guarantee get his skill off here,
One with
which
my blade.
is very unfortunate for us. And we have to basically tank
Kamisato Ayaka.
2 turns
present.
of maximum freeze on us. And that is going to be a big issue. I guess we just normal attack into it. There's no point to do anything special here.
After all that training.
Now they'll be able to attack again, so they'll probably go, yeah, Sing Cho. Will they go for the normal attack? Will they go for a skill? They will go for a normal attack, try to get the freeze on, even though we will be able to freeze him next turn if we just stay on Ayaka, which is what we will do. Klee will gain a little bit of heal. We have a pizza as well that we could use. Now, what do we want? We don't want any of this. Do we want the Hydro? Do we want Mona? Potentially we do. We also are probably not going to use Klee just yet. Klee might show up, but she is on death's bed here, so probably best to just aim for as much cryo as we can to get Ayaka's burst off. Okay. We do have the pizza. If we burst, it'll be 5. That'll be 4. Do we try to draw for anything, potentially? So if we burst, they freeze, they move back to that. Attack, normal attack 2 and 3. That would be lethal. So let's see if we can get maybe a Lotus Crisp. We can't, but we can get one of these, which will be useful. Maybe more useful than the pizza, or maybe we pizza both. If we pizza both of them, that could be useful.
Sakura swirl.
Okay, they might be looking for Ayaka's equip card. That would possibly get them lethal there. I thought of that, but the odds of them having it and not having already used it seems kind of slim. So let's see what they managed to pull out here. They're gonna pizza on Ayaka. Are they just giving up on Sing Cho? Are they waiting for him to go? Nope. Okay. Now, how do we want to do that? We could do damage there. We could swap over to Mona. If we swap the Mona, that will force the freeze. They will still have another attack. That is the scary part. They will have another attack.
It is as the stars foretold.
Yeah, they're going to normal attack. Get that off. That's going to be 3. If I heal with this, that'll be 5. Still within, well, not within lethal now. They used the last of their attack there on that. We could potentially wait it out with Mona. That is a possibility, and then heal Klee. That might be the best idea. Place another one of those just to be safe. God, definitely does not matter. Now, they might have a burst. If they have a burst, that would be unfortunate. They could potentially have that. Or, of course, they could actually just die for... Well, no, they won't be able to get Shatter because of the cryo attached to it. They're going to try to get their Sing Show healed up. Klee is going to heal a little bit. Ayaka's skill is going to start doing some work for us. Okay. I'm going to try to use Mona's skill here. Or maybe just Mona's regular attack, maybe not even skill. Just aim for as much cryo as I can. And in doing so, if the Sing Show does use his burst, he is going to freeze himself. Now, of course, if I use her skill, it will heal her, which would be nice. But they're going to swap. We're going to swap. It won't matter. We also have that for heal. So this is going to get a freeze in. We also have a burst, potentially, that could be pretty devastating here. Now they have to swap to him. If we burst, it's only for 4, though. Huh. Yeah, they have no choice but to swap the Sing Show. That's fine.
Kamisato Ayaka, present.
She will attack for 4, and if he does anything funny, he freezes himself. I may be able to put this on her as well and heal. Well, it may have been better to just swap back to Mona. That may have been a bit greedy. Yeah, he's going to go for the normal attack. That's fine. He has to burst or he's going to lose it to this, or he swaps back, one of the two. He's going to go for the burst.
Witness the power of Gugwa.
Freezes himself. Now, is he going to swap to Ayaka to keep the Sing Show alive? No, he's going to let the Sing Show die. That will be fine, because it'll swap him to Ayaka anyways. We'll be able to attack first, attack with Cryo, and then Hydro as well here. We'll probably have the stuff to convert for it, so... And we'll be able to free swap as well if needed. It won't be a quick swap, though, so that is going to be a problem. Maybe we quick swap the Klee, let Klee take the hit, and then go back to Mona. We just need 1 cryo. Okay, we got the Omni for it. Now we need 1 more Hydro. Didn't get it, but we should be fine to convert. We've got plenty of things for it. This will put her at 5. Now if she uses the skill... Yeah, normal... Well, normal attack? Are we just going for damage here? Not elemental skill. And then probably into normal attack. Of course, there is the burst there that we have to think about. This could be a problem. Well, no, they won't have the dice for it, so. Do we let Mona take it and then... Well, no, if normal attacks, that'll be 6. If Klee attacks for 2 and then potentially 3... Well, we won't have the dice for it, will we? It may be better just to use Mona's Burst like I'm planning. Swap to Klee.
Klee can help.
Now, unless they have some surprise dice, we should be able to do something here. And they might, but they would need 2 of them. Normal attack, healed to 6. Interesting. That is potentially enough for us to do what we need to.
Jumpy dumpy move!
Now, do they have the surprise dice? They do not. And we win with Klee. So yeah, pretty tense match there. Lots of freeze going on there, being able to avoid the freeze and counter the freeze with freeze and melt and vaporize and all of the elements that we have. Definitely a very tense matchup there. A lot of strategy needed and a lot of healing needed, so pretty cool. On to the next. Okay, looks like we've got ourselves a superconduct cryo resonance. Could be pretty tricky here. Lots of sustain. We do not need all of this. In fact, I probably don't need that either. Okay, a lot of card draw, some free swapping here. Quite a bit of free swapping with Ayaka's thing there. Might want to just go freeze into ramp. Try to card ramp and see if we can get there. I don't think we're going to use Klee here. Again, opponents got a lot of sustain with Diona. If they have Diona's skill, that could be an issue with the skill card.
Let me scry.
Now, they might swap, and if they do, I think then we play into our ramp instead. I mean, even at this point, I think it's probably better that we play into our ramp and not worry about using Ayaka here. We could easily give Ayaka her card and then just draw cards and see what we get. And also play our Favonius library. That might be the better play. I don't want to necessarily give up the freeze when they're already at the end of their turn. That would be a bit of a waste. Yeah, and it looks like the opponent's going to end their turn anyways. They've got the NRE there. Okay, so yeah, we can arm Ayaka with that and do our card draw, see if we get anything that can prepare us for next turn. Okay, so it does look like we have quite a few things that can be useful here. This can be useful as well, though I do feel like Favonius Library is just going to be better use in the long run. Now, they can quick swap into Superconduct here before we get a chance to attack. Yeah, I don't think we're going to stick on Mona. Though, the game is heavily telling us to. Now, I think Ayaka or Klee is going to be the better choice, depending on what the opponent does. Looks like they are going to try to guard here against
Don't blink.
potentially a freeze. Okay. How do we want to play this? We could just go straight into our ramp here between the two of these. If I do 3 here, 2 on the cryo, I could potentially swap into Klee, or I could just hold and wait. It's another option there. Just place that, wait. That might be the best choice here. So yeah, do this. And then wait, see what we do with heal-wise. Pass it to the opponent, see what they do. They're going to have burst next turn with the Kitsing if they attack again, or if they have any kind of energy card in hand. Opponent has a lot of cards in hand too, so they've got a lot of options that they could use here. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna have that down. They're expecting a freeze, so that is something that, and they're expecting that. So yeah, they're predicting that they're going to get frozen and not going to be able to use their burst. So that is something to consider here. They're well aware of the fact that they will get frozen, very likely. Do we want to necessarily use Mona, then? I don't think we do. I think just going Ayaka Klee will get us more damage in the long run. And at this point, I think we are a little taxed for damage here. Not a whole lot on the Klee side, but we definitely will get plenty on the Ayaka side. The opponent obviously knows that this is
Kamisato
coming.
Ayaka, present.
Take flight.
So they know that they'll be able to quick swap there. Since that's why they put down the Catherine. Now they too can use cryo on us, but again, since they're superconduct, I'm not as concerned. However, they do have that. That is a tad bit concerning, so that's going to be 4 damage incoming from their skill if they use it. Nothing that we can't out-heal, though, given some time. And we do have an answer for both of their bursts, potentially. Okay, looks like they are probably going to go for a skill then if they're doing that. This is true. Now we too can do this.
My apologies.
Okay, and they end up healing 1 back. More heals on the Ayaka, and a heal on the Kitsing as well. And then that's going to end their turn. How do we want to play that? Oh, we could let Ayaka take some of the damage here. We could also get rid of this card draw. He's not generating a whole lot for us right now. Of course, if we did swap over and trade something, that might be different. That might be something to consider. If I do this, I can swap the Klee for free, use her skill, and then swap back to Mona.
Klee can help.
Nah, I just need to get rid of you. I don't think you're just going to do a whole lot here right now.
Jumpy dumpy go!
And that's going to put the Ayaka down to 5, so pretty significant damage there. And then we swap back to Mona. Of course, if we swap back to Mona, that's going to be... Well, Mona will heal from this. I believe Mona
This
will be
is
fine,
destiny.
even with the Electro. We do have to worry about the burst, though. Yeah, 3 piercing damage from the burst may be a problem that we have to worry about. In that regard, it may have been best to stay on Klee. I'm going to keep all 3 types just in case to see what we might need or be able to use. Looks like we're being sent towards Ayaka again. And we do have the means to convert things, so we do have quite a bit that we can work with. Just depends on what the opponent does. They can also quick swap burst, which will be an issue. So we do have to be concerned with the quick swap, especially since we don't really have much for immediate heal. Interesting. Did they mean to put that on Kitsing? I think that was just a misplay on their part.
Whirling snow!
Okay. Going to do 5. That'll give us... That will be helpful for us, for sure. I do feel a little bad, though. Our opponent's misplay probably is going to be a big one. That's a lot of dice to use.
Shadows
And
of
end
fate.
up accidentally using for... Well, for what happened. That is very unfortunate. We could try to swap to Klee and just start blasting. That might be an idea. If we do, that will be 4, and then... oh, they're still going. It'll be 4, and then another 2, which will be 6, but it'll be 6 plus 2, and now it doesn't matter. It might matter now. It might be best also just to get our heals out here. Play it safe. I feel like playing it safe is probably the smartest choice. Try to catch up in terms of heal. We've done quite a bit of damage there. Okay, what do we have? Yeah, we still have to worry about Kitsing's burst. That's going to be a problematic one. Do we want to use Mona's? I will hold on to it, maybe. Perhaps it'll be useful here. That Animo is not useful, though. And we don't have any kind of ramp. We can convert if we need to. Okay, what is the opponent going to do? Set up a superconduct, maybe? Again, they can quick swap. They are going to set up for that. Their NRE does appear to be out, so whatever they've got in hand is what they've got. They might not have enough for the... Well, if they have another cryo dice, they might be able to. Okay, how do we want to do this? That won't do us a whole lot of good. Ayaka, again, can freeze, forcing them to do something, but of course Ayaka is also at 9, so perhaps Klee is the better choice here.
Klee can help.
And then we just attack. We get the 1. Not impressive by any means, but still not terrible either. Opponent's getting their ramp down. Interesting. This could be quite tricky here. And a pizza. They really want to get Kitching's burst out. They're going to go as hard as they can on that, it seems. That's only going to be 2. I'm going to switch back so that
This
Mona
is
can get the
destiny.
heals, and I suppose I'll place down this as well. There's no point in keeping it in my hand unless I want to tune it, and perhaps the extra dice rolls could be beneficial. Okay, we've got some heals here that we can work with. A lot of pyro. I don't know if I want to use that, though. I might want to go hydro cryo here, try to freeze whatever's about to come out. They've got a lot to work with, and freeze is probably going to be the best counter. However, I am being told by the game that is not the best idea, so I'll leave a pyro there just in case. Definitely not giving me what I need for this combo at all. It definitely wants vaporize more than anything. So it's going to be a bit difficult for us to do this unless we convert a lot. Interesting that they would use that. They've got a quick swap there. Going to likely be the burst.
With sword comes
Indeed
shadow.
it is. Bit of damage for sure, but nothing to be too concerned about given the fact that we have this. And we can also convert, which is what we will do. And then be able to get a +2 back.
Shadows of fate.
Okay, opponent converting some things.
Don't blink.
Elemental skill for 2. Now, how do we want to play this? We could bait. We could switch to Ayaka, and then if they do something that I feel would be better for Klee, we could always switch to Klee, or we can just switch to Klee and use her burst. That might be the better choice, and then swap back to Mona. However, Mona is in a situation where if we do quick swap to her, she is pretty much dead. So we need to be very careful here of what we're doing. It might just be best to let Klee take the brunt of damage here. Again, I don't think they're going to be able to do anything significant for
Klee can help.
any kind of
Blow them out.
5 damage here with 2 dice. I don't see that happening, especially without reactions. So they're likely to end it. They do have 1 more dice, though, so they may be able to still get an attack out. They're going to try to re-roll for something. This might result in their Kitsing dying. And if that's the case, these will be quite useful for us. Especially if they try to let her die to then use that. Interesting. They are just willing to sacrifice her then. Unless they can swap for nothing. She will die to Mona's skill.
I will not go quietly.
Okay, we've got our ramp, but maybe a bit too late. At this point, we are more in need of heals than anything else. They also have Diona out. What can Diona do? 2 damage. If there's anything like Cryo Resonance, that could be enough to kill Klee. But we may be able to back and forth freeze potentially here, allowing us to get some things done. This is a risky one. Either way, we don't want any of these. I am a little concerned because we don't have anything to let us use Mona's Burst unless we use those dice. So unless we get 2 Hydros here, or of course we could always sacrifice one of our summons and maybe our ramp. Again, our ramp is in a bit of a precarious situation. That'll be 4, that'll be 3, 2, 1. Do I want to do that though, or I could just attack for this? Depends on what they have for the heals as well. If they use a shield, the shield will blow up just to their own attack from Klee's burst. They do have the Cryo Resonance, as expected. They are going to go for the kill.
Scratched it.
Okay.
Yay, I did it! Oh, wait. No, I didn't.
That's going to blow that up. And then Mona can heal herself here for the 3. Yeah.
Shadows of fate.
We still have these that we can use as well.
It's not wine.
Now, did they draw a I haven't lost yet? Because that could be a thing. This is a normal attack for Superconduct. If we burst, that will be 3. They have 3. They may very well be able to burst kill, which would be a problem here. So perhaps we just go for the freeze and stop that right now. But of course, if we do that, we have no means of healing her. If they burst, this would end up doing the probably like what 4 because of the swap, and then it would end up 3, which would put her at 5. That would not kill. That would be negated, I believe. Or is it only when if they care to use this skill? We might be able to do this, maybe. Let's try it. We also, again, have the
Kamisato
dice, so we
Ayaka,
can burst.
present.
And then if we just convert that, that'll be 5, and this should seal us the victory here. Even with this, 1, 2, this should be victory for us. But I will use this just in case. Oh, the heal. Okay, I definitely need to use this then. They are not out yet. That is for sure. Okay, so we do have that. I could have waited and used that next round, potentially. So let's see what happens. They end first, so they will get that. This puts them at 1. Unless they have some very good heal in hand, I do believe they are probably dead. They have to be able to heal themselves up to resist 4. That's a pretty steep order. I don't think we're going to want any cryo. I believe Ayaka is just going to die. They may be able to do it with artifacts. When I think about it, they don't have any kind of like skill or healing artifact on her, so they would have to use something for it. If she uses her skill, she will kill Ayaka, but again, die to Mona. And we do have enough for Mona's burst, so she does have to be able to resist 4. Opponent's definitely weighing the options, doing the math here. This is definitely the turn to end all turns here. And I have definitely found myself in similar positions. 1 HP, potential to win if you've got just the right cards, but also if you mess it up, easy loss. So definitely know their situation, but it looks like they're going to run out of time, sadly. So unfortunate for them. They just didn't have the card or wasn't able to do the maps quick enough, but definitely a very tense match there. But managed to eke out the victory, so awesome. There we go. Okay, so there we go. Definitely a lot to be said about being able to quick swap to get off quick reactions on the opponent. The freeze being a major part to give us time to set up our ramp and to just set up in general or to counter enemy combos. Definitely worth having. And then obviously the melt and vaporize potential with Klee for the big damage. Though Ayaka with her skill card definitely could deal some good damage on her own. Freeze doing 5 damage is pretty significant, especially considering the utility of just stopping the opponent from using that card. But also cannot deny the importance of these artifacts here, the Lucky Dog artifacts, for keeping us alive, especially in longer, grindier matches where our heal cards just don't last long enough. Definitely a very important thing to have consistent renewable heals. And then, of course, obviously, the ramp. Without it, definitely are shortchanging yourself on just how much you can do when you change. Again, the send-off cards here, very good if you're up against summons and maybe catalyzed decks, things like that. Things that summon Fischl, or Oz rather, or Guoba, Kole's Burst. Definitely going to be good against that. Maybe not enough to take on Oceanid summons or Magukenki summons. At least not all of them at once. For that, Guardian's Oath would be better, but it's also more costly. So definitely can change these cards out for things to maybe fit into other archetypes here, but worth having them in if there's nothing else that immediately comes to mind, since the utility of them against a lot of different decks at least let you hit important targets for a variety of different pretty common decks that you see. So yeah, definitely a lot to say with this one. Is it a strong meta-defining deck? No, probably not. But it can hold its own and is definitely fun to work with and to watch it go on and off and get its reactions. So definitely worth trying out. And if you do, feel free to leave a comment below. If you change out any of the cards in there, especially again the send-offs, tell me what you put in there as a replacement. And I will see you in the next one.